Namaste and good evening. We'll start our class with the prayers. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Now we'll chant Mahamrityunjaya mantra 3 times to pray for those who are in distress and suffering. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukam Iva Bandhana Mrityormukshiyam Amrutat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukam Iva Bandhana Mrityormukshiyam Amrutat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukam Iva Bandhana Mrityormukshiyam Amrutat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Today we start the class 29. So after this, 3 more classes are remaining. This course was designed for 32 classes. So next weekend, we should be able to conclude this Ramacharitamanasa course. So as you know, we are already in the last chapter, Uttarakanda. And today's topics would be that Lord Rama instructs his citizens about divine love or bhakti. Guru Vashishtha asks a boon for bhakti. Mother Parvati, finally Lord Shiva completes the narration of Ramacharitamanasa to Mother Parvati, and she is very happy. And then she asks further questions. And that further questions basically tells the story of Kaka, Bhushundi and Garuda. So this is the very beautiful story in this particular chapter. Kaka Bhushundi. Kaka means crow. And Kaka Bhushundi means the supreme among crows. And Garuda is an eagle who is a special eagle, not an ordinary eagle. He is considered the king of all the birds. And as well as he is the vehicle of Lord Vishnu. So there is a story of these 2 characters. Beautiful story. We'll see that. So in the last class, we had seen that how Lord Rama explained the characteristics of saintly persons and wicked people. And both aspects he goes in some detail, and we discussed all that last time. And then we continue from there today. And the last class we had concluded on this verse, that even though Lord Rama described a lot of qualities of both saintly and wicked people, he concludes it, Sunahutat Maya Krit Gunaru Dosh Anek Guni Ho Bhena Dekhiyahi Dekhiye So Abhibek. That There are numerous merits and demerits, but essentially they all are products of Maya. The greatest merit is that one should not look at either the good or bad and go beyond it, go beyond the duality. Then, once upon a time, Lord Rama, he called all his citizens into his court. And he wanted to instruct them out of his love and compassion for them. He wanted to instruct them. So they all comfortably sit, all the citizens of a city. And then he is saying that, look, I'm going to tell you something. It is not out of any selfish motive on my part that I'm asking you something. I'm telling you something. Nor am I telling you something because I am the king here and you are my subjects. That is also not the reason why am I telling you something. So it is all for your own good, what I'm going to tell you. Please listen carefully. But at the end of it, it's up to you. Whatever you want to do, you do. There is no, it's not like a royal directive that you must do this kind of thing. This is the similar kind of thing we see in Gita, Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna has taught Arjuna, and in the 18th chapter, last chapter towards the end, he says, I have told you everything, yathechhasi tatha kuru. Now you do whatever you wish. So here Lord Rama is also starting his teachings on this topic of devotion. It's a beautiful teaching. There have been a few commentaries on just these teachings of Lord Rama. They are not as detailed as Bhagavad Gita, but in short, he gives the gist of all the spiritual things. So first he is saying, and then he also says that if you find me saying anything which is inappropriate or wrong, you just correct me. Don't fear that here is the king, how can we correct, how can we say anything to the king? So not like that, because this kind of dialogue I'm having with you, it's not, as I told you earlier, because I'm a king and you are my subjects. And he is saying here, Soi sevak priyatam mam soi, mam anusasan mane joi. The one who is most dear to me. So, lot of people consider themselves as my servants, as my devotees. But to me, the most dear is the one who follows my teachings, who follows what I say. And then he starts his teaching. Bane bhag manush tanu pava, sur durlabh sab granthin gava, sadhan dham moksha kar dwara, pai na jehi par lok samvara, so paratra dukh pavai, sir dhun dhuni pachitai, kalahi karmahi ishwarahi mithya dosh lagai. So he's saying this human body, this is not an ordinary thing. It's a great fortune that one attains this human body. This human body is so rare, so difficult to get, that even gods in the heaven, they wish for it. And all the scriptures sing the glory of this human birth. Why is it so? We all are human, of course, as we are talking and listening. And naturally, because we are human, we do not consider it as such a big deal. to be born as a human being. And as you know that many of us or most of us are surrounded by many types of sorrows in our day-to-day life. So considering all that also, it doesn't seem like all that great a thing. Yet, why is it great? Because he is saying it's a sadhana dhama mochakar dwara. This body is abode of doing the spiritual practices. This is the place, this is the birth in which one can perform the spiritual practices. And it is the gateway to liberation. So, only through human birth can one attain liberation. It is very difficult, if not impossible, to attain it through any other birth, even of gods. Therefore, gods also wish to be born as human beings. And this thing also has come in a book called Vivek Chudamani by Adi Shankaracharya. He is also saying that human birth is extremely difficult and rare, and it's something one must take good care that what is the purpose of human life. And it is not that we just try to attain the money and try to enjoy the life as it is here in this world. But the primary reason why the human body is given to us is so that we can find a path, find a way to liberation. That is the beauty, that is the rarity. All other living beings in different bodies, they also fulfill their desires, they also try to attain the happiness by fulfilling their desires. If human beings also consider the success of life in that sense only, then essentially there is no difference between a human being and an animal or any other being. But it's because that this body can be used as a vehicle to liberation, there is a great glory in it. And he is saying that one who does not do that, he attains a lot of sorrow in the other world, and then nothing is remaining but to repent. And even in this world, it's very difficult to find the unalloyed happiness. I told you earlier that even gods find this difficult to attain, that they also look for human birth. So generally, gods are considered above human beings. So why gods would envy human beings? Because they have far more things to enjoy. The reason is this, that in Vedic philosophy, it is considered that to enjoy the fruits of your karma, not all the bodies are equally suitable. So if somebody's karma is quite good, the kind of the fruits that person is supposed to enjoy as a result of that karma cannot be enjoyed in the human body. Human body has a limit to enjoy. So for example, if you like a particular sweet, you can only eat so much. You cannot eat more than that. It will start giving you the pain instead of a joy. Similarly, if you like music, how many hours can you listen to the music? You can't listen like for days on end. It's not possible. It will start giving you the pain. Similarly, different bodies have different capacities for both enjoying the sense objects, either causing sorrow or causing happiness. So if somebody's karma is extremely good and he has done those karmas with the objective of enjoying the things in this world or enjoying the sense objects, then that person is given this body, which is a God's body. God we normally spell in English is G-O-D. We in Hindi we say Devata in heaven. So he attains a birth in heaven with a special body, whereby his body is not subjected to the limitations of the same limitations we have in the earthly plane. And in that body, one can enjoy sense objects without limit. So if you like something, you can keep eating without having any ill effects on the body, or even without losing the taste of the things. So that is the sort of description of heaven has been given. But even however great that sense of enjoyment may be, the enjoyment itself is limited in the sense that it's not ultimate and it's not everlasting. So therefore, even those people who are born with such a body are also finally looking for the liberation, which is the final goal of every living being. And it is the unalloyed happiness. And therefore, they also look towards getting a human birth. And then Lord Rama is further teaching them that if you do want the happiness here in this world as well as in the other world, then I'll tell you a very simple way. The simple way is devotion to me. That devotion in me is also validated by the scriptures. Bhakti sutantra sakal sukh khani, binu sat sanga na pavahi prani, punya penjo binu milahi na santa, sat sangati sansruti kar anta. So he's saying that this devotion is independent, like it is not dependent upon something else. So there are certain spiritual practices for which one has to be qualified in order to get initiated into those practices. But he's saying that's not how the devotion is. Devotion is independent. But the only thing is that without the company of saints, sages and saints, one does not attain it. And how does one get the company of sages and saints? That is based upon a lot of good karma. And when one attains the company of saints and sages, that starts his journey towards the liberation or end of the birth and death, cycle of birth and death. And he is saying that indeed is one good. What is the good deed, good karma? He says primarily good karma is to serve saints and sages. That service doesn't have to be physical only. It could be mentally. If somebody mentally is praying to them, praising them, thinking of them, that itself is also a good karma. And then he is saying that my devotees, they are of a very simple nature. They don't have anything hidden in their heart. There is no, they don't have any, they have a very guileless disposition. And he's saying that if somebody says that I am your devotee, but at the same time, he is hoping something from other people, that I'll get this happiness from other people if the other people do something for me. Can you really call him as my devotee? Is that really so? In other words, if somebody is truly my devotee, he would lose any expectation from any other person in this world for getting the happiness. And then he's saying those who are free from any enmity, any expectations, any sorrow, they are not increasing the too much scope of their work too much. They are not given to the ego. They are not involved in any negative karma. They always find the joy in the company of saints and sages. All the sense objects, they don't count anything for them. They are very steadfast in the path of devotion, but they have nothing against other paths. They are saying that yes, this is my path and I'll follow it, but they do not say that your path is wrong or you should not do this. If somebody else is following another path of spiritual evolvement, nor they get into too many arguments. Their whole occupation is me, singing my glories, chanting my name, expressing their love for me. Such a person, I actually come under their control. Like I follow them. There is a saying of Kabirdas, मन ऐसो निर्मल भयो जैसे गंगा नीर, पीछे पीछे हरि फिरें कहत कबीर कबीर. So Kabirdas, he was a great saint of medieval times, about 500 years ago, and he is writing this couplet saying that my mind has become as pure as if the water of river Ganga, and as a result of that, instead of me going after the Lord is coming after me saying, "O Kabir, O Kabir." So when Lord Rama finished this short discourse on the spiritual life as well as the importance of devotion called bhakti, then all of the citizens who were listening to this discourse, they felt so happy. They all came, fell down at the feet of Lord Rama and says that you indeed are our mother, father, teacher, our beloved. You are dearer to us than our own life. Who else will give us these kind of teachings, which will give us the joy not only in this world, but also in the world afterwards? So with a lot of joy in their hearts, they leave the court of Lord Rama, thinking of the teachings of Lord Rama. Then once Guru Vashishtha, so if you remember, Lord Rama has his Guru, his name is Vashishtha. He is the Guru of the kings of this lineage. So he comes once upon a time to Lord Rama when Lord Rama was alone. Lord Rama, when he sees his Guru coming, he stands up, bows down to his Guru, washes his feet, takes that water on his head, and then he makes him sit very respectfully and asks, "What is it that I can do for you?" So then Vashishtha, Guru Vashishtha, he speaks, he says, "O Rama, it is very surprising to see that Lord himself has come and he is playing this human play even to the extent of becoming my disciple. When I see that, I always pray that may I not be deluded by your Maya." And then he says, long time ago in the starting of the creation, because Vashishtha is considered as the son of Brahma, the creator. So when he was born, he was told to take this job of being the priest of this royal lineage. Generally, a priesthood work was not considered such a great thing for a person who is so great a rishi. So he refused. Vashishtha refused. Then Brahmaji told him that, look, even though you consider this as lowly job, not befitting your status, I want to tell you one thing. Later in time, in the same lineage, in the same clan, Lord himself will come. Lord himself will take birth as a human being. So that time you will have the honor of being the guru of Lord himself. When he heard that, Vashishtha heard that, he realized that after all, what is the reason for all the spiritual practices, etc. And ultimately it is to attain the devotion to the feet of Lord, and that I will get automatically when Lord comes before me. So Vashishtha very happily accepted this job of priesthood, and that's what he is telling Lord Rama, that I want to request you that please give me the boon of the devotion to your feet, because without the devotion to your feet, all the impurities of the mind, they cannot be washed. Your devotion is like water, and these impurities which we have attained as a result of our various karma, they cannot be washed by another karma. So because this dirt is settled because of certain karmas we did, to keep doing another set of karma will not wash off this dirt. Just like one kind of dirt is not washed by another dirt, you need water. So this, even though some actions may be required, but ultimately it is the water of your devotion to your feet, that is the one which will wash the impurities of the mind. And then Lord Rama grants him that boon, and Guru Vashishtha, he is very happy, and he leaves the then once upon a time, Lord, along with his brothers and Hanumanji, he went outside the city. And he gave a lot of gifts to the people out there. After doing all that, he was a little tired, and he just sat under a tree. Bharata at that time, he took his own cloth, the upper cloth, uttariya, which we call it, and he put that on the ground for Lord to sit. And then Lord is sitting, and all the other brothers, they are just trying to serve him. Hanumanji is, there is a play on the Marut sut tab marut karai, pulak bapush lochan jal bharai, Hanuman sam nahi bad bhagi, nahi ko Ram charan anuragi, गिरिजा जासु प्रीति सेवकाई, बार बार प्रभु निज मुख गाई. So Marut Sut Tab Marut Karai, because Hanumanji is the son of wind god, so he is fanning the Lord, which is like doing the wind, doing the air, or causing the wind air to the Lord. So there's a nice play on the words here by the poet. And Lord Shiva is telling Mother Parvati, oh Parvati, there is none as fortunate as Hanuman, who has so much devotion to the feet of Lord Rama, to the extent that Lord himself has praised his service many times with his own mouth. So with this, now Lord Shiva is telling Mother Parvati that, look, as you had earlier asked me, I have told you the story of Lord Rama in detail. I have told you as per my own intellect, my own understanding. Truth be told, that it is impossible to tell all the plays, all the description of the life of Lord Rama. Because Lord Rama is infinite. His characteristics are infinite. He has his birth, his actions, his plays, his names, they all are infinite. It may be possible to count the particles of dust on this earth, but it is not possible to describe all the plays, all the exploits of Lord Rama. So I have told you all the story of Lord Rama, which Kag Bhushundi told Garuda. So this is what I told you, Kag Bhushundi to Garuda. So Lord Shiva is saying that as Kaka Bhushundi told Garuda, so I have told you. Now you please tell me, what else do you want to say? What else, if you have any more questions? So first, Mother Parvati, so happy, so joyous, she expresses her gratitude. That she is saying, I'm so blessed, so fortunate that I heard this divine story of Lord Rama, which is capable of taking one across this ocean of birth and death. These characteristics, these qualities of Lord Rama. So I'm so happy, so thankful, so grateful, so fortunate. And by your grace, O Lord of mercy, I do not have any more infatuation. Now I understand the glory of Lord Rama. Then she is saying that one who has ears, if they do not like, how can it be they do not like to listen to the story and plays of Lord Rama? And she is saying, if that is the case, if somebody feels like bored after hearing these stories of Lord Rama, then they truly have not understood its special character. Because even the sages and saints who are liberated while living, they also find interest. They also listen to the stories of Lord with great interest. So now Mother Parvati is asking a few more questions. She is saying that yes, whatever I have understood the greatness of Lord Rama, I have no more confusion, no more delusion, no more of my previous thing which caused me the pain in the life of Sati. But I have this question that you have said, that you told me the story which Kaka Bhushundi told Garuda. So tell me about this. Tell me a little bit more about this, that how can Garuda, why why did Garuda go to Kakabhushundi to listen to this story? And how Kakabhushundi, who is in the body of a crow, I told you Kaka means crow, so he is actually a great saint in the body of a crow. He is a crow. So he's saying, how did he attain this devotion to Lord Rama? Because it is extremely difficult, even for a human being. You will find among thousands who follow the path of Dharma. Among those thousands who follow the path of Dharma, somebody may attain the dispassion from the sense objects. Some of them, then they attain the knowledge. Out of those thousands, some may attain the devotion to Lord Rama. So it is so rare, so difficult, even for a good human being. What to talk of a crow? So how did he attain all this knowledge, all this dispassion, and particularly this devotion to the feet of Lord Rama? So please tell me a little bit more about this. And what caused him to get this body of a crow? And also, as far as Garuda is concerned, he is not an ordinary person. He is the king of birds. He is the vehicle of Lord Vishnu himself. He is a person of knowledge, and he has served Lord for a long time. As a result of that, he is also devoted to Lord Rama. So why did he go to this crow to listen to the story? If he had to listen to the story of Lord Rama, why did he not go to some renowned saints and sages? So, hearing this simple question from Mother Parvati, Lord Shiva was quite happy. He said that, I am very happy that one, your delusion is gone. You have understood the glory of Lord Rama. And two, that you are still interested in knowing about the story of devotees of Lord Rama. So it shows that you have truly attained the love for the feet of Lord Rama. So first I'll tell you, Lord Shiva is saying, the circumstances in which I heard this story. And so if you remember last birth, when you were Sati, you had this delusion about Lord Rama, whether he truly is God or not. And then your delusion did not go away despite my teaching you. And finally you tried to test Lord Rama, and then you went to your father's house, and there you found me being insulted, and you could not tolerate that, and you gave up your body. So all that story of your past birth, and we have already discussed this in our initial classes, story of Sati. So he's saying that story of your past birth. So after you left your body, I felt very disturbed and very sad. I wasn't feeling comfortable staying here. So I was just roaming around. And then I found this mountain on the very, very north. And there was this special tree, and there lived this crow, this bird, the very special bird. This bird does not attain the death even when the whole universe comes to an end. That's a little bit special about this bird. And this his whole ashram, or the whole area for a few kilometers around his ashram, there anybody, whoever, however, maybe confused, deluded, anybody who goes there in that area of influence would get immediately the peace to his mind. So all the characteristics of Maya, which Gurudev used to say delusion, illusion and error, they do not find their place in this in the area of influence around his ashram. So he said, I found it very interesting. And when I went close by, I found this crow, Kakbhushundi. All the time, he is either meditating on the Lord, chanting his name, or telling the story of Lord Rama to other birds. And there were some very pious birds, they were listening to the stories at that time. So when I went there, I felt very happy, and I also took the form of a bird and listened to the story of Lord Rama from Kakbhushundi. So then I came back to my abode at Kailash. So this is the story of how did I got to listen the story of Lord Rama from Kakbhushundi. So you had asked this question, so this question I told you. The answer to this question I told you. Then other question which you are asking, that how come Garuda, who is also a great devotee of Lord, he went to Kakbhushundi to listen to the story of Lord Rama. So he is saying that this relates to the instance when Lord Rama was fighting a war against Ravana. At that time, Ravana's son Meghnada, he created this illusion, and he hurt all the warriors of Lord Rama's side, including he threw this special weapon which caused Lord Rama to get tied in the bondage made of snakes, in a noose made of snakes. So for Lord Rama, it is all play. How can even just by chanting his name, people are free from all the bondages? How can he himself can come into any bondage? So for him, it was all play. But when Narada, he sent Garuda that go and your Lord is under this bondage of snakes, make him free. So Garuda came and he saw Lord Rama, and he saw that he is bound in this noose of snakes. He did, because Garuda is the snake eater, that is his food. So he freed Lord Rama from this noose. But then a terrible doubt and dejection that possessed his heart. That how can the Lord, who is all powerful, by his mere wish, universes come and go, how can he be bound like this, like an ordinary man? By this tiny demon? And more he is trying to reason it out within his mind, more he is getting confused. And finally, he is not finding any way out of this confusion, out of this delusion. And he approaches Sage Narada. And he told whatever is the doubt which is disturbing his heart, his mind. When Narada heard that, he felt great compassion for him. He said, "Oh, Garuda, listen, Lord's Maya is very powerful. Even to the men of very wise people, it can confuse them. I myself have been victim of it many times in the past. So it's not a easy thing. It's not such a huge surprise that you are under the spell of the same delusion." Then Garuda said, "What do I do? What should I do how should I go about it? Because I'm not able to find a solution within myself." And Narada says, you go to Brahma and then ask him, he will guide you. So Brahmaji is considered like the creator, the divinity which is in the form of creative aspect. So Garuda goes there. He could go into any place because he is a very divine person, Garuda. So he goes there. He bows down to Lord Brahma. And Brahmaji, when he hears that, he says, look, there is no one who knows Lord Rama as Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva knows Rama truly and well. You just go to him. Don't ask, don't consult anybody else on the way. Just straight go to him and do whatever he says. So Garuda felt happy, at least there is some direction. So he goes to Lord Shiva. And remember, this Lord Shiva is telling this story to Mother Parvati. So he's saying that Garuda came to me. At that time, I was going to meet somebody called Kubera. So I was on the way. And Garuda came and bowed down to me and put his doubt in front of me. And Lord Shiva at that time, he's saying to Mother Parvati that I told Garuda, look, you need to listen to the story of Lord Rama for some period of time. You need to have the company of saints and sages, the devotees of Lord Rama. You have caught hold of me while I am on the way. So this is not the most appropriate place or time for me. What I would suggest is that you go to Kakabhushundi, this crow, who is truly the devotee of Lord Rama. And you go to him and ask him and listen the story of Rama from him. Then your doubt will go. And he tells Garuda, the Lord Shiva is saying, I told Garuda that without the company of saints and sages, one does not get the fortune to listen to the story of Lord Rama. And without that, one's delusion does not go away. Without the going away, without the delusion going away, one does not attain the love. One does not develop the love for the feet of Lord Rama. And Lord Shiva is telling Mother Parvati, look, Parvati, you might wonder that why did I not tell him? Of course, I was going on some other place, but when somebody in such distress comes to me, I help him. But I did not help him at that time. I did not tell him myself the story and the characteristics and the place of Lord Rama, because I understood somehow the mystery behind this, that it is indeed the Garuda's delusion or infatuation. In some ways, it is because of the grace of Lord. He wants to take away his ego. For some reason, Garuda fell into this mistake, and Lord wants to get it removed. So if he goes to a crow to listen, it will help him. And secondly, he said, I did not teach him because a bird understands other birds better. So because of this, I sent him to Kakabhushan. So Garuda, anyway, he bows down to Lord Shiva, and as Brahmaji had said, that just do whatever Lord Shiva says. So without any further ado, without any further questioning, he just goes where Kakabhushundi stays. And the moment he gets into that area of influence, all of a sudden his doubts are gone. All of a sudden his mind is clear. He is not confused. He is not deluded. He feels extremely happy, and he feels wonder that what a great sage this crow is, that not only he is free from any kind of effect of Maya. But in his ashram, in this area of influence around his ashram, anybody who is entering, they cannot come under the spell of Maya. So when Kakabhushundi sees Garuda, Garuda is no ordinary person. He is the king of birds as well as the vehicle of Lord himself. So Kakabhushundi gets up, bows down to Garuda, makes him sit in a very prominent seat, and after giving him all the respect which due to him, he says, "O king of birds, what can I do for you? I am so happy that you came here. I am very glad to see you. How may I serve you? What brought you here?" Then Garuda said, "O Kakabhushundi, listen, the reason for which I came, that is already accomplished. My doubts, delusion are already gone. Just by looking at you, just by coming into your ashram, that is gone. Now I want to listen to the story of Lord Rama from you. So please tell me the story of Lord Rama." And you are no ordinary person, he is telling Kakabhushundi, the one whom Lord Shiva himself praises. So here I am like your disciple, and you please teach me, you please tell me the story of Lord Rama. So here Kakabhushundi, he feels very happy when he sees such humility from Garuda and his desire to listen to the story of Lord Rama. And that anyway was something which Kakabhushundi was always very happy to do, to tell the story of Lord Rama. So he started to tell the story of Lord Rama. So we'll see the next class, remaining things. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to write to me. So here is one comment which is here, and this mother, she is from Dallas area. She is I met her in Texas ashram recently, and she was very happy listening to this story of Ramacharitamanasa. And while being in the USA, she already arranged recitation of whole Ramacharitamanasa in India and at her home. This is considered a very auspicious thing, and many people in India do that. The recitation by a pandit, by a person of knowledge, of whole Manas. So now she just sent a comment that I am in India and I am in the middle of having this recitation. So yesterday it started and today it will finish. So I'm so happy to hear that. It is so amazing that you got inspiration for that kind of thing. And she's asking me if it's okay with you, I will be able to show live chantings from my maternal home to all. We can definitely do that. Let me see if I can enable you for that. So I'm making you co-host, and you can probably start. You see Mama, if you can start your video and share the screen, you should be able to do that, I hope. Because I just made you co-host, which should allow you to do that. Okay, if you cannot do that for whatever reason, just let me know. Okay, there is till the time we hope that C Mama would start or be able to share her screen. or show us the chanting from there, from India. I'll just read some other comments here. One person is saying this story of Kakbhushundi is one of my favorite parts of the Ramacharitamanasa. Love the story and love the prayer Namami Shamesham Nirvana Rupam. That will come in the next class, the prayer to Lord Shiva. Somebody is asking, is Kakbhushundi still living, alive then, if nothing happens to him when the universe ends? So yes, in one way people do believe, and some people do get his darshan. It's of course extremely rare, but people do believe that he can still shower his grace based on some people. So there is a question here. Baba, does Goswami Tulsidas mention that Kakbhushundi repeats this every yuga? So if you remember in earlier, this was told in Manas that every kalpa, that means every so often in the cycle of creation, in every cycle, Lord Rama takes birth and the whole play of Lord Rama is repeated. But maybe with a slight difference, not exactly the same. The basic story is the same, but the details are not always the same. So because of that, okay, so she is able to start her screen, I think, or video. Let's see. So this is a very festive occasion typically in India, and this is called Akhanda Ramayana, where the chanting goes for 24 hours continuously without any break of whole Ramacharitamanasa. Thank you, Simama, for sharing this. Somehow because of the connection problem, maybe the quality is not coming as very clear, but we can still see that. Thank you, Ma. So with this, you can stop it, and we will be closing the class. There is a comment here. Swamiji, you explained how devotion to the Lord is necessary for attaining liberation, and the Ramacharitamanasa is saturated with bhakti and prema of Goswami Tulsidas. Indeed, it is, and it is a scripture. That's why it has attained the status of a scripture. Because it is something which gives the knowledge of different aspects of a spiritual life, primarily focused on devotion, which is so important in this age. Even Adi Shankaracharya, he says that for attaining the liberation, devotion is the primary means. So with this, thank you, Simama, for sharing this beautiful Akhand Ramayana video, and with this, I'll conclude the class with the prayers. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Thank you all.